In the silent, candle-lit chamber of a Carthaginian temple, a child stands still. His hand hovers above the flame of a small brass bowl. The heat burns his skin, but he doesn't flinch. His father, Hamilcar Barca, the Lion of Carthage, speaks with unshakable authority. "Swear it, Hannibal. Swear that you will never be a friend to Rome." The boy doesn't blink. His eyes reflect the flickering fire. "I swear it, father, until death." This is how the story begins, and not with conquest, not with bloodshed, but with an oath. An oath of hatred. Hannibal Barca was born into a legacy of warriors. His father had led Carthage in the First Punic War, a brutal, draining conflict that ended with Carthage humiliated and Rome ascendant. But Hamilcar was not a man who accepted defeat. He led his family to Iberia, modern-day Spain, a land rich in silver, warriors, and ambition. There Hannibal grew not with toys, but with weapons. While other children played, he trained in swordplay, horse riding, and battlefield tactics. He learned from commanders like Mago, his younger brother, and Hasdrubal the Fair, his brother-in-law, each a seasoned leader who helped expand Carthaginian influence in Spain. Hannibal absorbed everything, every scar his father carried, every Roman insult left unpunished, every lesson in strategy and fear. When Hamilcar died in battle, Hasdrubal took command, but soon he too was assassinated. The soldiers turned to Hannibal. He was only 26. They raised him on their shields and chanted his name. He was no longer a student. He was commander of Carthage's destiny. Rome had made a treaty. Carthage could not cross the Ebro River. But Hannibal ignored it. He knew treaties were just temporary masks Rome wore before war. He set siege to Saguntum, a Roman ally. The city fell after a bitter fight. Rome responded with fury. This is war. But that's what Hannibal wanted. He knew he could never beat Rome by waiting. He had to strike first, to strike hard. And not in Spain, but in Italy itself. In the spring of 218 BCE, Hannibal assembled a massive army, 50,000 infantry, 9,000 cavalry, 37 African war elephants. Commanders, his brother Mago, the veteran Maharbal, and many Iberian and Numidian captains. They marched across rivers, through enemy territory and into Gaul, facing fierce tribal resistance. His generals argued, "We're not ready for the Alps, Hannibal. The men fear them." "Let them fear me more," Hannibal replied, "or let them follow me into legend." When they reached the Alps, the men froze, not from the cold, but from disbelief. Before them loomed jagged, white-capped monsters that stabbed into the sky. Narrow trails no wider than a cart, cliffs that plunged for hundreds of feet, avalanches echoing in the distance. Even Maharbal, the ever-loyal cavalry commander, whispered, "These are not mountains, General. These are the jaws of the gods." But Hannibal was resolute. "We are Carthaginians. The gods do not scare us. Rome lies beyond. Would you turn back now?" They marched. Blizzards swept through the columns like ghosts. Horses slipped and fell. Supplies were lost down icy gorges. Food ran low, soldiers froze in their sleep. One morning, a group of men rebelled, begging to turn back. Hannibal rode to them on his surviving elephant Surus, the only one who hadn't fallen. His face was half covered from frostbite, but his voice rang clear. "You fear death in the snow? Then fear the chains of Rome more. Either we die here or we live as legends." They pressed forward. Mountain tribes attacked from high cliffs, throwing boulders and arrows. One pass crumbled underfoot, sending dozens of men to their deaths. Hannibal ordered his engineers to cut a new path through solid rock using fire and vinegar, a trick from Phoenician metallurgy. It worked, barely. After over 2 weeks, what remained of the army stumbled out of the Alps into northern Italy. They were ghosts of their former selves. From 50,000, only 26,000 remained. Most elephants perished, all except Surus. Their eyes were sunken, their bodies frostbitten, but their hearts burned. And Rome? Rome was blind to the threat. Senators argued in the forum, confident that no army could ever breach their natural defenses. They expected war in Spain. Instead, news arrived. Hannibal was in Italy. Panic erupted in the Senate. One senator shouted, "He crossed the Alps with elephants." "Who does that?" another whispered. "He's not a man, he's a demon." Roman generals scrambled to muster legions. But Hannibal was already preparing his next move. At the head of his frostbitten army, riding the last elephant, stood the man who swore, as a child, to never be a friend to Rome. Now, He was its nightmare. Hannibal had arrived,